Hey, good morning. Thanks for streaming with us. We really appreciate you doing that. And I hope everybody's staying warm. It is definitely cold out there this morning, and not only is it cold, but we've got some winter precipitation. So let's just go to the map here. Let's take a look. All right, outside, here's a look at the last couple of hours. We started off at 32. Now down to around 30 degrees. Temperatures have been dropping. Look at this. Kerrville stopped dropping. They were dropping pretty bad. Temperatures there 24, still 24. We got 30 at the airport. Hondo's coming in at 30. And now that more colder air is working in, the lower part of the atmosphere is drying out a little bit. And so as that lower part of the atmosphere continues to dry out, precipitation is going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. And that's a good thing because I've got numerous reports of the northern portion of Bexar County that the tree's getting really weighted down and really can't take much more of this freezing rain. So what I think is going to happen for the rest of the morning and into the afternoon, we're going to see just light precipitation continuing, primarily in the form of sleet pellets, maybe a little bit of some freezing rain in there as well. Starting to see the freezing line moving to the south, so maybe a little bit of an accumulation also in southern Bexar County, working into Wilson County, and also over towards Gonzales County. Here's the latest look at the radar. Purple there over San Antonio. I doubt that sleet. It's probably more like freezing rain, but there may be a little bit of some sleet working in. But I think the precip amounts from here will be on the lighter side, and that's good news. Continue to see that light precipitation instead of heavy stuff now that temperatures are below freezing across most of the county. All right, so from here, I think temperatures will be around 30 to 31, maybe even upper 20s across the northern portions of the county here in Bexar County. Up in the hill country, I've seen quite a bit of sleet up there and also some freezing rain, mainly sleet though. Definitely coming to an end a little bit later this afternoon, especially by 3, 4 o'clock. Temperatures will continue to stay very cold, of course, and tomorrow morning we're going to have some real cold low temperatures. So here's what you can expect for the rest of the day. We still have this winter weather advisory that continues across San Antonio. You notice the counties there in purple. If you're watching from one of those purple counties, you can expect continuation of light winter precipitation. Accumulations are going to be really light, but as the temperatures continue to drop off from, let's say, northern half of San Antonio northward, could be a few problems on some bridges and some overpasses, especially northern portions of Bexar County, northern Hondo, Guadalupe County. And then, of course, when you hop over into the counties that are in pink, that's a winter storm warning that is in effect. Already have seen problems on roads and also bridges and a lot of accumulation on those trees. Northern portions of Medina County, northern Bexar County, trees are starting to get kind of weighed down a little bit, and that's why we've got a lot of power outages. Plus, we've got some strong winds, and that's not helping the situation at all. So if you're wondering about travel here in Bexar County, I think for the most part the roads are going to stay fine. Roads are fine. But it's the bridges. Northern half of Bexar County, I think we still have a problem with those bridges still may have a chance to freeze up. And so you just want to take it easy on those bridges, especially now as the sun goes down. We'll get into the upper 20s. If there's any residual moisture on those bridges, that could be a real problem. So just keep that in mind. Now, where do we go from here? Well, I think temperatures will stay really chilly. Wind chills are going to be in the teens for the rest of the day. Temperatures just not going anywhere, staying close to freezing or just below. And then it's going to be a cold night overnight. Overnight low around 21. High tomorrow 38, partly cloudy skies. Low Saturday 22. By the way, don't forget the 4 Ps, the people, the pets, plants, and pipes. Just don't forget those. Pipes is kind of too late now. Well, it's probably not too late, but anyway. The 4 Ps, you got to watch out for those. And temperatures, wind chills in the morning. I think here in the city, we could easily see wind chills single digits. I think wind chills in the hill country could be below 0. 22 degrees Saturday morning for a low, high at 46. Sunday, mostly sunny, high 54. And then as we head into Monday and Tuesday, mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies and still cool. Still temperatures below normal. We don't get back to normal until Wednesday, with a high temperature around 62 degrees. So stay warm. It is definitely going to be cold over the next couple of days. And for the rest of this afternoon, just to kind of recap a little bit, let me go back to my radar here real quick. Here we go. Just to recap, temperatures at or below freezing across most of the county. Thank goodness the precipitation is very light, but you'll notice it's still light all the way back to Uvalde. So from here through most of the mid part of the afternoon, we're going to have light precipitation, freezing, light rain, maybe a little sleet mixing in as well. I don't think we'll have enough sleet accumulation to cause a problem on the roads, but watch out for the bridges. Bridges could be a problem, and of course, in the hill country, we already have a problem with those bridges and overpasses, and the roads for that matter. Most of the roads in Kerr County, they are really slushy with that sleet, and that's most of the hill country, that's the way it is. So make sure and watch me. I'm coming up at noon, coming up in just a little bit. 4, 5, 6, and 10, watch us, and I'll be back tomorrow morning, and we really appreciate you streaming with us, and I hope everybody stays warm. All right, we'll see you later.
We are continuing our team coverage on this Arctic blast that's moved in. Meteorologist Paul Mireles is tracking the latest on the storm. Holly Stouffer has her eyes on the road conditions if you're traveling today. Nicole Kahn has the latest updates from Governor Greg Abbott. Plus, we have teams out live today. Jeremy Baker braving the elements in the hill country out there in Kerrville. And Victoria De Leon is gathering your travel updates if you're planning on flying. But first, we want to start in the Weather Center with Paul. How's it looking out there right now?
Oh, I tell you, Audrey, it is cold and it's icy in some spots. Temperatures have now dropped. We've been dropping really kind of steadily through the morning. We're now in the upper 20s at the airport, 29 degrees. And with that drier air and colder air working in, the precipitation is getting less and less and lighter. So that's the good news. Temperature right now, we're sitting at 29 at the airport. Bernie's at 27, Bulverde 28. Northern part of the county really cold. Bandera 24, Hondo's coming in at 29. Downtown now below freezing at 30. Stinson Airfield coming in at 34 and Seguin's at 30. Watch the temperatures over the last couple of hours. If anything, they're going down. They're really going down here in Bexar County, again down to 29. Okay, so here's the good and the bad. The bad is it's getting colder. The good is, well, the precipitation is getting lighter. Here's a look at the radar where you see the purple, that's light sleet, kind of a mixing in with a very light freezing rain. And it's a good thing that the rain is coming down in less intensity, because I've seen a few reports in northern Bexar County of the trees really bowing over, picking up anywhere from 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of ice. And so any kind of weak limbs are falling, plus the winds are really blowing, and that's knocking some tree limbs down, and that's why we've got some power outages. And you can see that light precipitation extending all the way back to Hondo and Uvalde. So all the way through the early afternoon into the mid-afternoon period, I think we're going to have some light precipitation across Bexar County. Shouldn't cause problems on roads, but again, just a little more accumulation on some of those tree limbs and things like that. So we're going to continue to see this sleet showers and light freezing rain moving to the east, and temperatures are going to get really cold overnight. By about 1 in the morning, we'll be well down in the 20s, and I think first thing in the morning we'll be in the lower 20s with teens in the hill country. So if you're watching from this purple area, that's the winter weather advisory. In those counties, you can expect some light winter precipitation, not affecting roadways. Northern Bexar County, it's possible we could have some problems on bridges and overpasses as it continues to get cold, whatever residual moisture is on those bridges. Now, when you get to the warning area, totally different story there. We've got roads that are, got a lot of slush, a lot of sleet on them. We've already seen quite a bit of freezing rain, and we're going to take a look up there with Jeremy Baker here in just a little bit. So in the warning area, really the roads are not good. In the advisory area, roads are okay, they're good, but you got to watch out for some of those bridges, especially the northern portions of that winter weather advisory area. We'll talk more about these really low wind chills and also very low temperatures and when we're going to get back to normal. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
I'm looking forward to that, Paul. So I'm going to take you out now to the far northwest side, out near Fair Oaks. We're seeing a lot of heavy traffic here on I-10 westbound. So between Fair Oaks Parkway to Bernie Stage, you're looking at a 13-minute delay. And TxDOT says that could be due to icy conditions. We'll keep you posted. We also have a closure due to flooding, and that's going to be on the frontage road of 35 between Ben's Engelman and Coliseum Road. Below that, there's also an accident on 35 south of Military that you'll have to look out for. Now get a load of this. Here's a live look out west past Kerrville. This TransGuide cam. Let's get to our other one. Let's see, I wanted to show you this. We've got some sleet on the ground over here. This is I-10 at Mountain Home. I'm very grateful that San Antonio doesn't look like this, so we can be grateful for that much at least. Audrey?
All right, thanks so much, Holly. And the freezing temps and rain are putting the brakes on some travel plans. Eyewitness News reporter Victoria De Leon is live at the San Antonio International Airport. Victoria, have there been any flight cancellations?
Hey Audrey, there have been actually flight cancellations began as early as this morning, and there are multiple delays that all depends on the airline that you're flying with. So San Antonio airport officials are asking that you keep track with that airline, and there have been some people who have been able to reschedule. Others, however, have been having a much tougher time. For those who have been able to reschedule, they say that's fine, that's great. Some are able to get a refund, but then there are also people I've spoken to today who had plans to travel out of state, and now there are hotel fees and other travel fees that are just, they said completely down the drain. So at this point, again, there are still some flights leaving the San Antonio International Airport. It is something that we're going to be monitoring all day long. But for now, if you look at the airport behind me, things seem pretty calm. Lots of people are just trying to rearrange some of those travel plans. Now, again, if you do have plans to travel later today or throughout the coming days over the weekend, you are asked to keep track of those plans through the airline that you're flying with, Audrey.
All right, thanks so much, Victoria. It's causing lots of headaches all around the city, but city and county officials are continuing to reassure the public as this Arctic blast sets in. CPS Energy says the utility is holding up as expected. And we're taking a live look at CPS Energy's outage map. Right now, there's 158 active outages affecting over 31,000 customers. Interim President Rudy Garza says the outages are isolated incidents due to falling branches or downed power lines.
All of those are individual outages. They're not systematic. So let me just reassure the community that our power plants are running fine. And by and large, the system is holding up pretty well. We've got all of our crews available. The timing of this coming in was, right at the start of our workday. So our crews are were where they needed to be, and they're out in the field working. We've actually got 11 circuit level outages, which means the whole circuit from the substation, to the neighborhoods is out. So once we get, that's about 20,000 of the 32,000 customers that are out. So once we get those circuit level outages taken care of, that number is going to drop pretty quickly. So I appreciate everybody's patience. We know you're out. Really no need to call it in. We will be updating our customers throughout the day as we get caught up. Once the rain stops, our crews are out in this mess, working really hard. So I'd appreciate y'all paying attention to where they're at so that they can do their work safely. But we've got all our internal line crews. We've got contract crews. We've got close to 35 tree trimming crews available. So every resource we have available to us is out in the field.
And they are reminding everyone, do not approach down wires and treat them as if they are live. And Governor Greg Abbott held a press conference on this Arctic blast this morning. Nicole Kahn has been following the governor's response. And Nicole, what are the key takeaways from there?
Well, Audrey, as you can imagine, there are some key takeaways. We are learning that this is the largest icing event in decades for the state of Texas. So he wants to make clear that the power grid is performing well right now. But yes, there are outages. Many of you are experiencing those. Those outages are not a problem, though, with the power grid. Instead, these outages are problems with CPS Energy or your local provider that we see with most ice storms, including ice on power lines and limbs into power lines. The governor says the state is bringing 2,000 linemen from out of state to help with line repair, and he even waived some regulations to get them here faster. So help is on the way. But he says overall, there is plenty of power for every Texan.
It shows that there is plenty of power available at this time, as well as plenty of power expected over the remainder of today and early tomorrow. At the expected peak demand, not just tomorrow, but in this entire winter storm event, at the expected peak demand, there should be about 10,000 megawatts of extra power capacity. To put that in context, that is about enough extra power to supply about 2 million homes.
So let's actually take a look at the supply. Here is the ERCOT supply and demand graph. The blue line is demand, Power available is the purple line. You never want these lines to cross, and as you can see, there is a big gap that we have here. So right now we do have enough power. You can see that supply is higher than demand throughout the day today. The peak usage, though, that's expected to come tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So that's going to be the real test of the power grid when demand is the greatest. But you can help by conserving energy at that time so there's enough power for everyone. Nicole Kahn, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Thanks for that update, Nicole. And the Hill Country is expecting to get the worst of the weather today, and conditions there are already deteriorating. That's where we find meteorologist Jeremy Baker, who arrived there yesterday. And Jeremy, what's it looking like at this hour?
Well, let's start with the good news. The good news is the sleet has come to an end. The bad news, the temperatures continue to go down, and you see all the slush on the roads out here. That's the slush right now. That's going to quickly turn to solid ice over the next several hours and into tonight. And there are all sorts of hills and driveways around here. Cars having a hard time getting up and down those, especially last February. We're staying at this La Quinta over there, and they've got one of those driveways there. We had a bit of a hard time getting up that earlier this morning. I spoke to a man that works there who told me this here today is nothing like it was when he was in San Antonio last February.
No, this is nothing compared to San Antonio from last year. Nothing. This is nothing. Really bad. The snow came down kind of hard. It froze up the roads. The bridges were closed. We couldn't get from A to B.
Even though there are few cars and trucks on the road, he's expecting a packed house tonight.
Maybe most of the traffic, maybe the people that are coming in are away from their loved ones or so, and they need a place to stay, to travel, to be safe, and they'll just spend the night, and then maybe leave in the morning.
The city's Public Works Department is offering these inclement weather tips when it comes to solid waste and trash. Leave the bins near the road's edge, at least 3 feet away from other objects. They'll keep service intact unless it's unsafe. Then we'll add a Saturday service. On streets, of course, take it slow if you have to drive. City staff will monitor road conditions to see if they need the de-ice. Irrigation systems should be turned off. Call a professional if you must have it turned off and you don't know how. And last but not least, the pipes, you still have time to wrap and insulate them before the temperatures drop well down into the teens tonight. And don't forget the ones in the attic and the crawl spaces as well. And officers are reporting poor road conditions across all of Kerrville. They don't want you to call dispatchers to ask about road conditions, but instead to use drivetexas.org. Live in Kerrville, Jeremy Baker, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. Stay safe out there. Well, staying warm, a look at one of the places people can go to get out of this cold. Well, this just into our newsroom. We've just learned that Bernie ISD will be canceling classes for tomorrow, Friday, due to this Arctic storm. Definitely head to kens5.com to find out more information about the school districts in your area. But right now, we're continuing our team coverage on this Arctic blast this afternoon. The city of San Antonio offering multiple locations for people to stay warm. The city and Bexar County have opened up warming centers for anyone who may need them. Eyewitness News reporter Troy Kless joins us live from a location on the south side with how activity has been there. Troy.
Yeah, thank you, Audrey. Well, it's nice and warm inside, and we're told that there's plenty of room here at the Harlandale Community Center here on the south side. It's one of several warming centers that were open around the city this week to give people, again, a warm place to stay. And earlier this morning, we've seen officials with the city of San Antonio and some fire department officials as well coming in here and just, waiting and preparing for whatever amount of people show up. Now, again, for people that might be out there, these warming centers are pet friendly, and you're encouraged to bring whatever clothes, medicine, and any other supplies that you might need. Now, earlier this week, we got video of officials setting up beds and other supplies inside this warming center and others all around the city. Now, according to a city spokesperson, about 8 people have been taking shelter at the 4 city locations so far this morning. And according to Bexar County, who has its own shelters, 14 people were reported there this morning. And city leaders tell us also that people can get a free ride here as well. Via Transit is offering bus rides here to this location and several others. All that you would have to do is call 311 for assistance. And remember, these shelters will be open until Friday at noon for anyone looking for some shelter from this winter weather. We're live on the south side. Troy Kless, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Some good information there. Thanks, Troy. Also, be careful when driving the major highways that are a big concern during this freezing weather. Well, as the temperatures continue to drop here in San Antonio, road conditions could get icy. TxDOT is reminding you to stay safe while out on the roads. Eyewitness News reporter Alyssa Tejas has more on the conditions from northern Bexar County.
For several hours this morning, we saw frozen rain leading to some ice accumulation on trees and on cars as well. So if you're imagining that those areas are getting frozen, I'm sure you can picture bridges and overpasses freezing over as well. And that's why TxDOT got ahead of it early on Tuesday, starting to treat those roads. And we've seen crews out here throughout the morning also pre-treating those roads. They say that it helps as we're seeing heavy rainfall. They treat it while there is some light rain so that they can get ahead of it there as well. They've been working with San Antonio police to help close off any areas that might need to be. They say they wanted to do that ahead of them getting frozen over to prevent any very dangerous hazards there on our roadways.
Our goal is to keep everything open. We just ask the drivers to be very cautious when driving.
If you are planning to head out anytime today, DPS says to make sure you're using plenty of caution, especially on the north side of town. Make sure that there's plenty of distance between you and the car in front of you. Take it a little slower than you normally would and keep it distraction free. You can see any of the road conditions on drivetexas.org if you need any additional help. Reporting from the north side, I'm Alyssa Tejas, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.
Some good tips, and like she was saying, Paul, the rain kind of has moved out, but are we expecting any more?
You know, outside right now, just real light rain, maybe even a little bit of a light sleet, but the key is it's going to be light, and that is definitely some good news. Because some of these trees, especially northern Bexar County and into the hill country, just really can't take a whole lot more ice without breaking. We're right at the point with some of those trees there in the northern portion of the county. I know at my house in the northern part of the county, really getting weighed down with the ice. All right, let's take a look outside. We've got cloudy skies right now. We've got clouds all over the place and just real light precipitation. Matter of fact, it's so light you can barely make it out. But if you look closely, you can see it there, and it's coming down mainly in the form of light sleet now. All right, temperatures 29 degrees. This camera, you can tell that it's below freezing at the airport. This camera happens to be positioned into the precipitation, and it's, of course, it has frozen on the lens. All right, normal low 43. Let's see, this morning we were way below that, of course, and we've been sliding ever since, but nowhere near the record 12 set back in 1951. All right, the airport 29, northern portions of Bexar County well into the 20s now. I think this is a little overdone, but definitely upper to mid 20s. Yes, upper to mid 20s already across the northern portions of Bexar County. So that ice that's on those trees not going to go anywhere. Also on power lines and all kinds of other things. Down to the south now, temperatures getting to the freezing mark. South part of town, you're probably going to notice just a little bit of an accumulation on maybe some trees and some rooftops, things like that. Over towards Seguin, same kind of situation there, but the precipitation is very light. Okay, over the last couple of hours, notice how the temperatures have gone down. Now 29, New Braunfels at 30, Hondo's coming in at 29. But with these colder temperatures moving in, it's drying out the lower part of the atmosphere. And so even though we continue with the overrunning, the precipitation gets lighter and lighter and lighter, and that's a good thing. Mainly right now in the form of some sleet and also some freezing rain. Rain down to the south and east. We've got a lot of purple showing up, but I know it looks like a lot of precipitation here, but it's very, very light. I can prove it to you. Well, I think I took that one out. But anyway, yeah, just little light sleet. Even a little bit of some light snow now showing up. Northern portions, Uvalde County through Bandera, Kerrville, but this is real light. But it's one of those snows that if you look up, you're like, oh man, look at that. Light snow. Rain, Tilden over towards Cuero, and freezing rain now trying to work into Gonzales and also into portions of Wilson County. We've got a winter weather advisory that continues. Okay, this is the precip amounts, and you know, this is all with precipitation back to the west, right? Well, it's so light that it really isn't showing up on my radar as far as measurable precipitation. So very light stuff out there towards the west. Winds strong. We've seen those winds at about 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusts to 25 and 30. And with those trees now northern portions of Bexar County into the hill country, with some of these trees being weighted down with this with the ice accumulation from around over a tenth, maybe a quarter of an inch in some places, with the wind really starting to snap some of those tree limbs. Look at the feels like 17. Kerrville feels like 11. Fredericksburg feels like 10 degrees. This cold Arctic plunge is pushed way down south. Corpus Christi's at 40, Brownsville 46, but look at Amarillo, my goodness, down to 8 degrees. And you can see those isobars really close together. All right, with this system, where you see the red here, that is lift in the atmosphere, and it's rapidly approaching. And so once that passes through, well, our precipitation chances are over. And I want you to take a look at this. A good part of the United States with a snowpack from just north of the area all the way up into the Great Lakes. Okay, so precipitation is going to slowly come to an end this afternoon. Temperatures are going to be really cold, frigid. Matter of fact, the wind chills out there about 18 in the morning. I'm expecting wind chills in the single digits in the hill country. Could see wind chills below 0. So winter weather advisory continues. I think roads are going to be okay. But watch out for some of the bridges and overpasses, especially northern Bexar County. And in the warning area, roads are already bad. You saw Jeremy Baker there. Roads are bad, bridges are bad, a lot of collection, a lot of accumulation on trees and rooftops and things like that. So for tomorrow morning, we're down to 21, high 38, 22 Saturday, high at about 46. And look at how long our temperatures stay below average all the way until the middle portion of next week. All right, Holly, what is going on those roadways?
Oof, all right, Paul. So you know how we were seeing all that red on I-10 out near Fair Oaks? It's official. Turns out that I-10 is closed due to icy conditions, and that's going to be eastbound and westbound I-10 between Bernie Stage and Cascade Caverns. Closed until further notice. We'll let you know when that changes. We also have a closure here on the frontage road of 35 due to high water. That's going to be between Benz Engelman and Coliseum Road. Below downtown, one more accident on 35 southbound at Military. Let's see what's happening on the live cams. This is 1604 at Babcock. We've got another incident here. Looks like a car is about to be towed away, and we've got police on scene. Thankfully, not a lot of traffic. And here is 410 northbound at Ingram, a stalled car on the shoulder. We just had a whole lot going on today, Audrey.
Welcome back. We want you to take a look at this. Our photojournalist Gus Alonso caught these images this morning from Topgolf on the northwest side. The netting appears to be down there from the wind. Wow, that must have been really strong in that area. And take another look at this. These downed tree limbs that fell on cars this morning. Photojournalist Jean Dela Cruz caught this image on the northeast side. So lots of stuff going on there. And take a look at these downed power lines also on the northeast side. This is in the 8800 block of Village Drive near Loop 410. Be careful if you are in that area. Paul, we're going to be seeing a lot more of that.
Yeah, you know that's what happens to that netting when the ice collected on it, made it so heavy with the wind, just took it right down. That's amazing that can happen. And so a lot of these trees are getting way down. The wind's moving them, they're knocking down power lines, and so we've got all kinds of issues as far as that's concerned. And again, there's a look at that netting with about maybe a tenth of an inch of ice on them, just made them heavy enough with that wind, knocked them down. All right. Okay, so here's where we go for the rest of the day. We're going to have light precipitation, light sleet, light freezing rain, just really light for a good part of the afternoon, and then it finally moves off and out of the area. Tomorrow morning, we're going to see some cold low temperatures. I think we'll be way down in the 20s. I'm going to go 22 for a low and teens throughout the hill country. Here's the good news. You want some good news? We're going to get to about 40 for a high. We'll see some sunshine, I think, tomorrow afternoon. Partly cloudy skies, but that's all we're going to get to. It feels like temperature this afternoon, 18, single digits up there at Fredericksburg, and wind chills tomorrow below single digits and below zero. Yes, below zero up there in the hill country. Winter weather advisory continues until 9 o'clock this evening, and there is a winter storm warning until 9 o'clock as well. Up to the north portions of the hill country. So again, your forecast, cold one again tomorrow, high only 38, 46 for a high Saturday, and 50 Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Pretty cold snap.
Oh yeah, chilly weekend ahead. And Holly, one last look at those roadways.
Yep. Let's talk about those accidents. Again, 35 south of Military, that's going to be on the south side. And up north, one was just reported on 1604 eastbound at 281. And if you live out near Fair Oaks, Leon Springs, bad news, I-10 is closed due to icy conditions. That's going to be east and westbound between Bernie Stage and Cascade Caverns. Also closed. Oh, what was that, Paul? What were you going to say?
I had a question.
Yeah.
Okay, about that. Is the entire freeway closed, I-10?
Between those portions, yes.
But because that's bad news for truckers that have to go from one part of the country to the other. There's a lot of traffic on I-10.
Stopped off on the side, maybe taking those off-roads or something.
Yeah, the frontage road. But you know what happens in these situations? So many people end up on the frontage road that you're locked in there, so it doesn't feel too much better. And then here's a live look, too. This is I-10 at La Cantera. Looks like we've got another incident. Really, it's just one after the other today. Stay home if you can.
Absolutely. All right, that's Eyewitness News at noon. The Bold and the Beautiful is up next. We'll be back here at 4 with more coverage on this Arctic blast.